Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zack, and for the last 7 days I've been driving the 2024 Dodge Hornet RT plug-in hybrid. Up front is a 1.3-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, as well as a plug-in hybrid system, and down below is a 6-speed automatic transmission. Now, I am super excited to be driving this Dodge Hornet RT because this is the plug-in hybrid version of the Hornet, and I've driven the 2-liter turbo, and I like that car a lot. And so I'm here to drive the plug-in hybrid, or have been driving it over the last 7 days, and I have some thoughts and opinions to share with you. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. But let's get back to that 1.3-liter turbo, as well as the plug-in hybrid system. Well, altogether, the system makes 288 horsepower, making this car the most powerful CUV in its class. Dodge came to play when it came to the power numbers and the speed of this car. It is fast. It is fun to drive quickly. However, around town, it's not so great, but we'll talk about that in a second. You can drive an EPA estimated 32 miles on just electricity, which is fantastic for around town drives. But of course, once you do get out of EV, you will use the regular engine, of which I've been averaging about 29.2 miles to the gallon when I've ran out of electricity. Now, obviously, when you do have electricity, it's going to be moving back and forth, and it'll probably give you a crazy MPG reading like 1,000,000 miles to the gallon because you're not using any gas. But when you only have gas to rely on, it still gets about 30 miles to the gallon, and that's a mixture of city and highway driving. Like I said, paired to it is a 6-speed automatic transmission. It's a very normal transmission. It's an Asian transmission, and it's fine. Last but not least, of course, the Hornet is all-wheel drive. However, you can find them in front-wheel drive down towards the base model. How does it feel to drive the 2024 Dodge Hornet RT plug-in hybrid? I don't love it. It is quick, yes, but there are some driving characteristics with the plug-in hybrid that's really, really strange. When you put it in reverse, and if you're in electric mode, and you move it to drive, most cars take a second, but they get into drive, they sort of stop you from rolling backwards, and you start moving forwards. Not in the Hornet. If you're backing out of a parking spot in reverse, and you haven't come to a complete spot, throw it into drive, you're going to keep rolling backwards until you give it actual throttle, and it's a little unnerving and weird to get used to. I was also driving the other day, and it was randomly doing this bucking sensation in between electric and gas mode. Didn't know really what it wanted, and then it gave me gas mode, and it was fine the rest of the drive, but that was just a little strange. The steering also isn't heavy enough on the highway unless you put it into sport mode. On the highway, it seems real loose, but once you do put it into sport, it does stiffen up, and it does feel a lot better. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have a completely digital gauge cluster that you can customize and switch around a couple of the things, which I've liked. On the steering wheel, on the left, we do have our adaptive cruise control options and our e-drive modes. So we have electric, hybrid, and e-save. E-save is basically just gas mode, but they don't want to say that. And so you can switch between the few at your leisure. Off to the right, we do have voice command phone options, our pages, selectors, volume, and skip track. That's that scroll wheel skip track. The overall steering wheel does look and feel nice. It has the updated Dodge logo in the center, the perforated pistol grips, and I like all of that. Off to the left, we do have a climate control vent, our headlight switches, and our gas cap release, along with our gauge dimmer switch. And moving out of the door, we have 3 levels of memory seats, power windows, and power mirrors. Moving into the center, we get our little infotainment display. Now, there's one thing I don't like about it, and that's that the heated seats and heated steering wheel rely on the screen. I wish that there were physical buttons for that. However, everything else has been pretty good. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and the sound system has been by far one of the best parts of the Hornet RT. Hands down, one of the best parts. Here's the backup camera as well. It just has a single backup camera. I would have liked to have seen a 360 camera, especially at this price point for this amount of money. But they didn't give you that, so I can't comment on it. Down below, we have 2 climate control vents and the hazard switch, and then the climate controls. I love, love, love that these are physical. Yes, you can change them in the screen as well, but you do get some physical, if not mostly physical climate controls, which is wonderful to see. Down below that, we do have a 12-volt outlet, USB-C and USB-A, our engine start-stop button. This is the drive mode button in the Alfa Romeo Tonale, which is the sister vehicle of this car. We have our Sporty sport mode button, and then we move into the center with the shifter. Very standard run-of-the-mill shifter, nothing really too new here. Off to the right, we have our volume scroller as well as mute, power parking brake, and down below we have our ESC off and parking sensors off. We do have cup holders, so we'll do a big freaking bottle test. However, we've big freaking bottle tested several Hornets and Alfa Romeo Tonales in the past. They've all failed, and this is no different. Center console is deep but empty, much like my mind. And moving on to the seats. The seats do have this nice perforated material as well. They have these like red inserts, which looks really nice. And as a part of the RT package, track package, whatever you want to call it, they do hold you in pretty well. I've driven this car hundreds of miles and I haven't gotten a stiff back. I haven't been uncomfortable, and that's a good thing to see. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2024 Dodge Hornet RT plug-in hybrid, and a couple of things to note. As a 5'11", not small guy, my knees are hitting the seat in front of me. My head's coming pretty close to the ceiling. With my glasses on my head, it does hit the ceiling, but with my glasses off my head, like a normal human being, it doesn't hit the ceiling. I do have a center console, fold down 2 cup holders in here. I have 2 climate vents. A lot of vehicles in this segment forget about the rear climate vents, so it's very nice that I get that, as well as a USB-C and USB-A. Other than that, it is a compact SUV. It's a CUV, and so don't expect the world back here. You can put people back here, drive them to the store, drive them wherever. It will work. However, I wouldn't recommend putting someone back here for 14 hours across the country. So just something to note. Let's hop out. We'll take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, around the back of the Dodge Hornet RT. Press it twice here on the key fob, and we do have an unlocking trunk, but it is still a manual trunk, so you just pull it up like that. Once we are back here, we do get some storage down here. This is used for the plug-in hybrid charger. However, we do have these really nice little dot things that push in, so when you pull this up, it actually goes up and over it, and then it will actually hold it. So very cool engineering there in the back of the Hornet. But we do get some storage. No spare tire from the factory. You can option one for an extra $400, or I should say standard, not from the factory. No spare tire standard, but you can option one for a couple $100 extra. Over here, we also do have a 12-volt outlet that will only run when the vehicle's on. That's what that little key logo means. And so that is the rear space of a Dodge Hornet. Now we got to talk about the looks, and I think this is the best part of the Hornet, is how it looks. It looks fantastic in my opinion. Now, 8-ball is this color. There's Q-ball and 8-ball. Q-ball's white, which you're seeing now with a 2023 Hornet 2-liter turbo. Now we'll cut back to the black. This is the 8-ball color. Those 2 colors, of which I've reviewed this car in, are the lamest colors by far. There's a really cool gold color. There's an Inferno red color that I would highly recommend seeking out, that I think really accentuates the curves and shape of the Hornet, as well as just looks better overall. This black on black just sort of gets lost, and so you can't really see the nice details that Dodge has spent so much time crafting. So I would want to accentuate that as much as possible. But the looks is by far the coolest and best part of the Hornet. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think, having driven the Dodge Hornet RT plug-in hybrid for the last 7 days? Well, I love the exterior. I think it looks absolutely wonderful. I like the power that it has, and I like the sound system. All of that has been a pretty wonderful package. However, I don't like this car. Couple reasons for it. I don't like how it switches between the hybrid and gasoline engines. I think it's super intrusive, which is a shame because they have the plug-in hybrid Jeep Wrangler under the same umbrella of Stellantis, and that is so seamless between its gas and electric modes that I think that's the top tier for plug-in hybrids. And then driving this, made by pretty much the same company, is so intrusive and so different. I don't like it at all. I don't like how it drives when I'm not flooring it. If I'm just trying to drive it around town, it just seems very inconsistent. At one point, it does have a lot of power, and then at another point, it doesn't. And then you try to shift it weird, or you pull off from a light, and you're not really sure what kind of Dodge Hornet you're going to get today. It's almost temperamental. And then you roll in all of that together with the fact that it's a 4-cylinder turbo with a plug-in hybrid. I just don't trust the longevity of that. I'm sorry, but I don't think that these cars are going to be very reliable as time goes on. There's just so much technology, so much going on. And to be fair, I'm not limiting that to Dodge or even the Stellantis brand. I'm weary of almost any plug-in hybrid. I had a plug-in hybrid S60 Volvo press car, which was almost double the price of this, and it got a check engine light and kept turning on its own, and it was just weird and broken and things like that. So I'm not saying it's a Dodge problem, it's just me with plug-in hybrids. I have my doubts. And so what are my true final thoughts? Well, I'll go back to one of the golden rules of growing up. If you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Stellantis for loaning me this vehicle for the last 7 days. Huge thank you to G. Schmidt for facilitating the cleaning and delivery of this vehicle. And of course, the Midwestern Automotive Media Association for just being so awesome. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.